I 34F and my husband 35M have just gone through the biggest fight we ever had, and it seems like divorce is inevitable. We have been together for 7 years and married for 2. No kids yet, but I recently found out I am pregnant, and it's so early in the pregnancy that only my mom 58F knows as of now. About 2 months ago everything was fine in our relationship. We live in Toronto in a condo and we just got a puppy a couple of weeks ago. We obviously had the usual spats like most couples here and there, but nothing unmanageable. Recently my husband has got it into his head that we should move to Calgary. Due to its cheaper cost of living and the raising expenses in Toronto, it was worth considering. I was not and still am not 100% sold, because one thing my husband refuses to consider in this decision is that we have a lot of family here. If anything were to happen, I know we have support from them, and out there we'd be on our own. More info: we are very close with my family. My mom, brother 32M and Sil 27F live about 20 minutes away, and we see them and my extended family very often. We are not so close with his family. He has no communication with his sisters and only tolerates his parents. His parents never really accepted me because of my religion, and despite trying with them several times it came to the point where only he communicates with them. I try to push him to mend those relationships because I think he needs it. Family kinda fell apart when he was 17 and he seems to really like being around family ESP when he's with mine, so I figure with my pregnancy maybe we can start from scratch with his side of the family and building that relationship again. He was actually on board with my messaging his sisters and letting them know I was pregnant. The problem: on Saturday my brother had a barbecue and we and our new puppy went over. About a week before the barbecue my husband told my mom about Calgary. My mom was not a fan, as she didn't think it was a good idea for us. I wasn't thrilled either because we have nothing planned, and I felt there was no need in mentioning it yet as we didn't even know when and if we were going to go. During the barbecue I asked my husband not to mention it because I saw how upset it made my mom and I wanted to have a good time. He promised me he wouldn't. Now a bit more background: my brother got married last year and had his reception this year in May after his wife got her visa to come to Canada. My mom helped with the finances for both events. My brother feels like it's not fair that he got a wedding and reception and I didn't get either. We got married in City Hall and didn't do a reception and got our condo instead. So during the barbecue we were talking and my brother said we should think about it and throw a little party. TBH, I would consider it now, but my brother doesn't know I'm pregnant and I don't feel like I want to do that now. I'd rather focus on our future with the baby. During this conversation, when my brother said think about it, my husband says in front of everyone, fuck that, I don't want to feed those people, we are going to Calgary. I was very upset at this because firstly he wasn't supposed to mention Calgary, and secondly the way he said it was so rude. My husband noticed my mood changed and asked me what was wrong. When I told him privately why I was upset, he got mad at me for my feelings and decided he wanted to leave the barbecue. Keep in mind we came in one vehicle and we had the puppy with us and all his stuff. The barbecue was pretty much done, so really we were going to leave soon anyways, but my husband made a production of looking for car keys and making a grand exit. When he couldn't find the keys he kept rudely asking me to give him the F-King keys. We were by the front door and I told him to go outside and calm down, give me a few minutes to pack up the puppy and we could leave together, but he was adamant. When I didn't give him the keys he raised his voice and started swearing more, and that's when my brother came to see the commotion. He got into a verbal argument with my brother and my Sil dragged my brother away, but words were still exchanged. I was crying at this point because he's never been this way in front of my family. I gave him the keys and he ran to the car. I went after him to get to calm down and wait for me, but he drove off while I was standing right there. The neighbors saw and it was such commotion. I know in hindsight I should have just given him the keys, but in the moment I really didn't think along those lines, and I was worried about how it would look that he just drove off and left me and our puppy behind and I'd have to ask one of them for a ride home. When I tried to call him on the drive he said it was all my fault. That I caused his character to be assassinated in front of my family. My maternal grandparents live with my mom and heard the yelling too, that I don't respect him and I should have just obeyed him. When I got dropped off my mom was afraid to let me be alone with him, but I told her I'd be okay and thought we could talk it out. In trying to talk he continued to say it was all my fault, but I felt that he was to blame too, as he could have just left and called an Uber or gone for a walk instead of raising his voice and bringing the unwanted attention. I didn't like that he didn't consider for 1 second how his pregnant wife and puppy were going to get home. Talking led to more fighting and airing of a lot of dirty laundry. All the repressed feeling and resent bubbles over and things from past fights surfaced. This back and forth of arguing and talking has been going on for the past 2 days. We both haven't gone into work and are questioning if we should be together. I don't know if divorce is the answer here, but what I'm really wondering is if he's right. Was it my fault and was I being disrespectful? Do we try to reconcile or let this relationship go? Any insight is appreciated and thank you in advance. He demands you obey him. Your marriage is not a partnership. He expects you to be subservient. This is not a relationship to bring a child into. My concern is the statement that he wouldn't normally act this way in front of your family. Does that mean he acts this way at home? Update 1. Neither of us drinks. This happened while sober. Some people are wondering if we see my family too much, and it might be a lot for my husband to handle. We see them maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks, typically on the weekend. Often it's only a drop in to say hello or grab some food. More often I drop in on my own. Some people think my family might be too involved in our relationship. My husband has often said that my family has done more for him than any of his family has. And in fact, when he first had the idea of moving to Calgary, he suggested that we tell my mom right away and move her out there with us. My husband is willing to have my mom move in with us to assist with childcare. Also, my extended family has experienced a lot and are very knowledgeable when it comes to life lessons like buying a home, and it's always my husband's idea to seek them out and ask for their advice before we do something. 5. My husband knows I'm pregnant as we have been trying for a few months. He was the first person I told and my mother second. 6. Yes, I did say that he's never blown up like that in front of my family before, but he has in front of me many times. Sometimes our arguments go to the point where he says that he's going to leave or start shouting at me angrily. I'm not going to say I'm completely blameless as I do shout back, but at the end of most of them, I end up crying, apologizing, and then we are good again. 7. For those wondering about culture being at play. We are both first-generation North American. He was born in the USA and I was born in Canada. He's a dual citizen. We are both of South Asian descent but come from different religious backgrounds. Neither of us is particularly religious, but we respect that our parents are. Update 2. We have been talking and arguing on and off since all of this has gone on, and I even showed him a lot of the comments. He thinks the comments are not worth putting stock into because everyone who commented was not there in the situation. I asked him to read my post and tell me if I made an error in recounting what happened, but he didn't find one and felt that I was accurate. I suggested we do counseling as I suspect that this blow up has some roots in his anger issues which have been unresolved since his family sort of fell apart. He goes back and forth agreeing to do counseling, and then saying that he doesn't want to. He thinks that I need to be the first to apologize and beg for his forgiveness, and then he can apologize for the subsequent things that he did after. When he says obey, he means it in the traditional sense where women in the relationship are subservient to their husband. For those who wondered about our financial situation, it's not good. He lost his job 2 months ago and has put in to return to his former place of employment. He's still the process as it takes time even to be rehired. During this time he has been home while I continue to work. He had received a huge retro pay before all of this and promised to buy me a ring with that money. When he lost his job, the smart thing to do was use that money to help ensure we could get by, and that's what we have been doing. But that also meant my ring got put on the back burner. I'm not gonna lie that I wasn't annoyed by that because my ring has always been on the back burner, but I also know that the smart thing was to hold on to that money to get us by. During our arguments, I finally was able to express how I've been feeling in our relationship. I let him know that for the last 7 years I felt like he was very dismissive and devalued how I felt about anything. Whether the issue be big or small, anytime I expressed my feelings towards something I was often met with comments like I don't want to hear it or was brushed off. So for the course of our relationship, I've often had to push down my feelings so that it wouldn't cause a rift between us, and these last few days all of that bubbled over. He felt that I was explaining all of this out of the blue and under the influence of my mother. I tried to explain that it feels out of the blue for him because each time I tried to express myself in the past, he shut me down, so now for him it's the first time. He believes I'm making a mountain out of a molehill. That the trivial things he does or certain behaviors he exhibits are not as bad as things could be. For example, when I say he has some anger and attitude issues to work out, his reply is that I should be grateful that it's only that minor and that he's not actually being physically abusive. That the girl who gets beaten and starved and raped has it worse than my problems are. I don't think that's a fair comparison to make. I'm not saying those women have it easy, of course not, but problems in our relationship that matter to me should be considered important too. He asked me to make a list of the issues I have with him. And with each item he provided 1 or 2 examples where he proved otherwise, but what he doesn't seem to grasp is that it's the overall lack of effort in our marriage that bothers me. One example of this is that I work longer hours than he does. Also, my commute is about an hour if not more. So during these 2 months while I'm at work and he's home, it bothers me to come home and see his lunch plate sitting on the table. I don't get why he can't pick up after himself, especially if he is home all day. He says that's a minor thing, but I think it boils down to respect. I'm the one who is at work all day and is tired when I come home, so to leave it for me makes me feel disrespected. His response to this is to show me videos of women saying they put up with their husband's minor flaws because of what he provides. TBH, I know this is a minor flaw, and if we were sitting together I have no issues grabbing his plate with mine when we get up from the table, but I feel like it's different when he's home and I'm working. We eventually got to the point where he started crying and said he didn't know that I thought he was such a terrible person and he can't believe that I've been miserable for the last 7 years. That we should get a divorce because I'm so unhappy. He also said that he tried his best with his limited means and it saddens him that it's not enough for me. That despite his lack of knowledge he tried to make my life easier and give me opportunities to use my knowledge and skills to help our family. This is where my heart starts to break for him, because I know that he was at a disadvantage due to his family falling apart. He didn't get to learn certain skills or have a role model to look up to. I feel pain when he says those things because I know I'm the only person in his corner to help him. I just feel like not everyone grows up with the same opportunities as everyone else, but if you want to succeed in life then you got to put in some effort and hard work. If you don't know something, learn it. If you're unsure about something, find someone to ask. Eventually we ended up at a stalemate. I said I thought counseling would benefit us and especially him, and he says that he would only do it if I apologized to him for letting this fight go on for too long. That I should have begged for his forgiveness already and be a good wife. Then and only then would he consider therapy. I feel like I couldn't look myself in the eye if I did that. I know some people thought I should have just given him the keys that day, but in the heat of the moment that didn't happen. I feel like there's a million and one things he could have done differently too. So I shouldn't be the one to apologize. And his actions after that day due to his uncontrollable anger are far worse than my not giving him the keys. During this stalemate he starts to say that once he leaves me I'll have what's coming to be because I'll be 34 and single and alone. I won't be able to find a man and I'll look back and regret this. I really feel like despite my better judgment, I tried my best to salvage whatever I could of this relationship. But if he can't give me effort to try to work on it, then we are doomed. I am seeking out counseling for myself as I know that there's a lot for me to talk through. I don't know about the baby yet. I have my age to consider and that I've always wanted to be a mom. I have my family to support me if I do end up being a single mom. What I want to know is, at any time during all of this should I have done something differently? Now on to second story. Husband, the math teacher, is secretly engaging with one of his former students on Snapchat and subscribing to her only FNS. I am freaking out right now. My partner is a high school math teacher. He has been teaching now for a decade now and generally has been praised by students, parents, other teachers and admin for how he does his job. We have been together for 7 years. We got married in 2023. I have never worried about him being interested in his students. We have even talked about teacher/student relationships and he has never expressed anything other than disgust and how it's an abuse of power, even if the student is an adult, not to specific instances just movie instances and general topic discussion. He has never been called out for being inappropriate, that I know, never engaged with students over the weekend/summer, unless it's school related, but even then all contact is through school email or with parents. He generally refers to his students as his kids and actively keeps a distance from developing too close of a relationship, because, say he is young, attractive and other male teachers recommended he do so. Okay, here's what happened. Around March, we were at the movie theater one evening and I noticed a gaggle of girls staring and pointing. I notified my partner, assuming they were his students, and he told me I was right. We did not go over to say hi. We have seen his students before out and about and he says hi on a case-by-case basis but typically doesn't initiate, and they did not come to us. But, I noticed the rest of the girls playfully shoving one girl with lots of whispers, and the girl was staring at my husband sheepishly. I immediately thought she probably had a crush and honestly, thought nothing of it after until last weekend. We were celebrating Canada Day at a barbecue with family and my husband was pretty wasted. At one point, he went to the bathroom and didn't come back for so long I was worried he was getting sick, so I checked on him. When I knocked and said it was me, he said he was okay and would be right out but didn't unlock the door. He stayed in the bathroom for another /10 minutes. Super unusual for him but it could have been anything. Later that night, I woke up around 3 and he wasn't in bed. Worried again, I got up and found him on his phone in the living room. This is also unusual. When I asked what he was doing, he was definitely surprised and hit his phone screen. He said he couldn't sleep and didn't want to wake me up by watching videos next to me in bed. We both went back to sleep together. The next morning, he was hungover and slept in. I went through his phone. I have never not had a reason to trust him, so I have never gone through his phone. I found nothing of interest, except for the Snapchat app, which was not logged into. He used to use Snapchat but, from what I knew, hadn't in years. I honestly assumed nothing finding the app and figured I was reading too much into things. Last night, I saw a Snapchat notification pop up on his phone while we were watching TV. He was out of the corner of my eye but the logo is too recognition to mistake. My heart fucking dropped, because, knowing he was logged out last week means he is definitely using it secretly. I pretended like I didn't notice and a couple minutes later he got up to take a long poop. I cried while he was in the bathroom. Shortly after, I said I was going to bed early and he stayed up without me. He's on summer break. When I got up for work, he was still passed out. I went on his phone and found no Snapchat app. It was then that I knew something was shady for sure, and when I looked up Snapchat on the home screen, it was there, just hidden in a folder of apps disguised as cooking and workout apps. He had not logged out of Snapchat and when I opened it, there was only one conversation with a real human and it was a girl. There was no evidence of conversation between them because, for those who don't know, Snapchat deletes previous messages for good. I was ready to confront him for cheating with basically zero evidence but decided to keep snooping for something concrete. In that same disguised folder, I found that he had OnlyFans downloaded. The only content creator he was subscribed to had the same username as the woman on Snapchat, but it's his fucking student. The one from the theater, who was blushing. I have never clocked a face so fast. I am 100% certain. We make fun of OnlyFans simps all the time so I was already disgusted but I actually threw up when I found this. I was scared I was going to wake him up and genuinely didn't know what to do so I put his phone back and left for work. At work, I did some sleuthing and was able to find the girl's Instagram/Twitter accounts. She's 18 and from grad photos I can tell with certainty that she attended my husband's school. The same OnlyFans link was in her Twitter bio. He has texted me normally throughout the day and I have not responded to any but to tell him I have to go to my parents tonight but in reality I am still at WoW Arcade because I don't know what to do. The reality is that this is fucked up, but she has graduated. Is this now just the same as any old affair? I don't even know if she was in any of his classes. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to do next. Lawyer? Should I ask my husband and see what he says? Should I ask her? Edit to add, does anybody know how to slash if you can tell when an app was first downloaded? Oop, school here finishes end of June, but high school students are done earlier to complete exams, so mid-June. They graduate in May, as in celebrate and walk the stage, but return to school for exams. Divorce for sure unless I am mistaken. But, I am also praying trying to find any way that this could be acceptable or ignored because I'm heartbroken. My heart is shattered. I know I have an obligation to protect his students, but am struggling to this of this man as the one I married. I can't even think straight. What kind of lawyer do I get? I've never had one before? Just divorce lawyer? Will they tell his school if I confide in them before I know the truth? Oop, yes, I know her name. Is there a chance that he is not engaging and just subscribed? A chance that he has her Snapchat but isn't talking? Is there a chance I'm wrong? Should I check when it was downloaded before I ask? If he downloaded it after the school year ended and has not been engaging, is this the same as porn? It feels worse. Oop, I know. But then I also think that I don't know without proof. Is what I have proof? We share a mortgage. And a cat. We have shared investments. We just passed our 1-year anniversary. I thought I knew him, and now I don't even know if I can go home. I don't know where to go. We've never so much as even had a fight where one of us sleeps at a friend's. If I go to my family or friends, they will press me and then I can't take anything back. Update 1. To clarify some things, no, I didn't have pictures or screenshots of the snap chats or on the vans. I was so upset I didn't even think about it until afterwards, and I thought there would be another chance to get them. I realized I fucked up. For some of my early comments, my brain was still reeling. I am 100% leaving my husband, to make it clear. It took me some time to come to terms with what was actually happening and the fact that I was in denial, but Reddit helped me get there, so thanks. The comments were about 50-50 split between talking to a lawyer or my husband first. The reality is that I didn't think I had anywhere else to go at the time, and I was so emotional last night and felt like I needed to know. I wanted to confront him and rip off the band-aid. He called me while I was still at work and I ended up telling him we needed to talk. He seemed thrown off by this and cancelled plans to stay in. I didn't get home for almost 3 hours after that, crying and deciding WTF to do. Ultimately I went home. If you're ever in the same position, don't do what I did. I wanted to follow the advice of many comments by basically saying I know about her, but I really wanted to get pictures of the evidence first, so I planned on playing it cool, saying never mind, all is okay, until we went to sleep and then sneaking back on his phone. I shouldn't have said anything on the phone, but my emotions got the better of me. But when I walked in the house, I immediately felt like he knew that I knew. He said what's up super standoffishly, just seemed off, and whatever I said on the phone must have tipped him off. Either that, or he was able to tell that I was on his phone in the morning somehow, pretending to be asleep? I'm not sure. So I couldn't control myself and got super emotional and confronted him on the spot. I asked if he had on the Vans. It was the first thing out of my mouth, and he literally said no. What did you want to talk about? I told him I knew that he did, and he denied. I told him I went on his phone this morning and scoffed and walked away. I followed him crying and screaming that I knew he had OnlyFans and Snapchat, that I was leaving him, and finally cried out something about cheating with his students. When I said that, he immediately turned around and asked what the fuck I was talking about. I told him that I knew about the girl, 18F, and his face genuinely turned into somebody I don't know. He immediately began yelling in my face that I don't know what I was talking about, how dare me accuse him of sleeping with his students, that I'm crazy and trying to ruin his life. I was screaming at him back. I told him to open his phone and prove it, and he laughed in my face about how stupid somebody would be to do what I'm accusing him of, and basically threw his phone at my face and said, knock yourself out. As people can probably guess, there was nothing. He definitely knew before I got home. He was logged out of Snapchat, and when I asked him to log in and stop lying, he logged into a different account and asked me if I would drop it now. The first one had just 18F and a few AI account things. This one had all his old college group chats and other people, including me. He gaslit me and swore he didn't have another account. He even suggested that I dreamt all of this. At one point he finally admitted that he subscribed to enough for a streamer during one of our intimacy lulls, but never a student, and he swore he lied because he loved me and doesn't engage in that kind of behavior anymore. It was just hours of lies and gaslighting. He said that he knew which student I was talking about, but that he's never spoken to her or taught her. He didn't recall the movie theater incident and accused me of imagining it too. He denied receiving a Snapchat at all a few nights ago when I first saw it. He denied acting shady the days before. He denied everything. I was absolutely disgusted by him the whole night. As the conversation went on, he started to talk about how he's going to get us marriage counseling, that my trust issues can be worked on, and he would leave teaching if it's what it took for me to stay, but never admitted to anything with a student. Admittedly, I was starting to get a bit of a gaslight fog about the situation, believing some of what he was saying, but when he volunteered to leave teaching, I knew it was worse than I knew. Because teaching is his everything, he gave up an amazing opportunity which would have made him 3-4x the money and way more recognition to teach, and has never complained about his job a day in his life. We both know he loves his job more than he loves me. If this was truly all a misunderstanding, or if it was a one-off with a graduated non-student, I just think he would do more to protect his job and his career. He wouldn't just leave over crazy behavior for me. That immediately told me everything I needed to know, that he was panicking on the inside about me leaving and me telling people. Maybe because more happened with 18F than what I know, maybe because he's done this before, I'm not sure. But he fucked up bad. It's so late, I was so exhausted, and I feigned agreement in working through it and told him I could move past it, but I was obviously lying. I need time to get shit in order. He is sleeping in the guest room tonight. I told him I would need a lot of space and he said he was okay with that. He left his phone in our bedroom for the night as a peace offering. I hate his fucking guts. I have so many things on my mind right now, what the fuck to do, how to get a lawyer, if I should tell my family, if I should tell the school, the fact that I have no proof but I know what I saw. The fact that I'll be 33 and divorced. Above all, the fact that my husband may have slept with this girl, that's my gut telling me, because he kept repeating that he would never sleep with his students, over and over, when I was using words like cheat with, look at porn of or sex with. So that's the update. I was gaslit and lied too. I got no sleep last night but still went to work this morning to get away from him. He hasn't texted me or called all day. I want nothing more than to go to the school with this info. My heartbreak is gone and I'm just angry and disgusted and want to right his wrongs, but I need him to admit to it so I can know how bad it is, and I don't think he will. I was thinking of telling him that I reached out to the girl, I'm not going to, and see if that freaks him out enough to come clean, but what if she doesn't know / he's using a fake account? Or just saying I have proof, even though I don't. Anybody have any good ideas? In the meantime, looking for divorce lawyer ASAP. Edit, I am quickly edited to add, because so many people are saying I don't need proof to divorce, and I know that. I'm leaving him 100% regardless. But I really want some proof. I want to prove to him that he can't lie to me and get away with doing this. I also think most people in his life will not believe me without proof. I'm scared of my name being slandered and him getting off scot-free, or maybe even making me the bad guy for falsely accusing. I also want to know the extent because I need to know if he is sleeping with students or just being a creep.